So, hi everyone. My name is Shiv Kumar. So, I have 5+ years of experience into Microsoft Azure Cloud, and currently, I just let me check. So, guys, everyone able to hear me? Who has connected with the online? Hello.
Yes, sure.
Okay, cool. So, this topic is I was discussing about Microsoft Azure. So, guys, can you please be on mute? Okay. So today we're going to discuss about Microsoft Azure. I have already given a demo. I think since a few people have attended that demo and a few have missed that demo. So today we are completely discussing about Azure, but this is not a demo session. I mean, it's a semi-demo, and today's session would be like first class of our Azure 7533 certification. Let's quickly see the PPTs. So what is cloud computing? Because a few people are familiar with this cloud technology and few are not. So let's quickly talk about this cloud computing. Cloud computing is nothing but delivery of computing services like network, storage. Let's say nowadays we have a lot of what we say infrastructure, IT infrastructure resources like servers, storage accounts, storage and networking components, and there are a lot more in current IT standards. So let's say if you are actually providing all those services with the internet connection over the internet connection, let's say if you have internet, even you can access your compute resources like all these stuff with the internet connection, then we are calling this as cloud computing. So which means like this is making our life very simple just with a small internet connection. Let's say if you have a internet connection your mobile phone, even you can connect your server or a database with your mobile phone also. So this has become very easy in order to access your complete IT infrastructure. So let's gonna see and quickly go back to another PPT. So whoever have missed the demo part, you can refer my video, so which I have given in last week. I think last Saturday, I think. So as in my previous class, as I told, we have three types of cloud computing technologies. Let's say we can call them as security models: private, public, and hybrid. And with a small what we say, I just gave examples also in my demo session. Private in the sense, let's say if you don't want others, as I said, cloud computing is accessible over the internet. So people whoever having the internet, and let's say each and every servers, nowadays people are using servers in order to store their data in company. So let's say if you are using a server in your company, and let's say that the server has an IP address. So whoever having that IP address and whoever actually having the password, they can even connect from the internet. Let's say it may be from your home network or it may be from your office network. So in this private network, let's say a company is opted for a cloud computing technology and they are using the service. And right now, if they are using a private cloud, so even though if they have the internet connection and if they have the username and password, no, they can't able to connect to that service because it is restricted over a network. So, and if you say public, yes, it is accessible over the internet. So then hybrid is a combination of both private and public. So this session would be like, little bit fast because, we have already covered this topic in our demo session. So whoever have missed the session, so you can guys even you can share the email ID so that I will share the recording for you. You can go through that in case you miss the session. So quickly go to the another session. And we have also seen what are the cloud computing components like IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. And also we have seen a couple of examples for that. So as we discussed, why we need to use this cloud technology. Let's say because we are getting speed, scale, and economics. What is meant by speed? So I'll quickly give a small example for that. Just give me a second. Okay. So now we are talking about speed, scale, and economic. So why to use a cloud technology? Let's say first topic is speed. So why we are gonna discuss about the speed? So let's take a simple example of current IT infrastructure. You have your company. Let's say you have your company, and you got one project, and that project is to just to develop a Android application, and you need three developers here. So three developers need three dev machines in order to write the code and in order to use their applications like Visual Studios kind of stuff. So they need some infrastructure, right? Let's say they need some 2 GB RAM and some. I mean, let's take 4 GB RAM and 2 GHz processor. So let's say they are using that application, and what happened suddenly is they got a huge requirement. Let's say they got another project and they started writing the another project code as well. So in this scenario, what happens here is the load, whatever the load in those machines, it becomes very high. Let's say if you don't have a single, let's say you don't have a three machines and you only have a one machine and three users are connecting to this. And during that time, the load will be very high and the performance will obviously go down. So in order to mitigate this issue, you will raise a support request to your admin with your admin team. So now admin team will need to get the approvals in order to upgrade the machine, and then they will upgrade the machine accordingly whenever during the half business hours. So let's say this is your scenario. How much time it takes in order to do this stuff, all the stuff. Let's say developer affected with the performance on this machine, and then slowly he raises a support request, and the support team need to contact the management, and then they need to upgrade these machines. Let's say if they are using a physical infrastructure in the sense like a normal server, which is completely a rack-based server, or which is in their current on-premises infrastructure, like in their office. So in that scenario, they need to completely stop that server, and they need to bring that hardware, and then they need to install it on this machine. So it takes a lot of time, and it also it's stopping your production business. So people, they're actually developers, they don't have work until unless the machine is ready. So this is just, let's compare this scenario with the cloud right now. Yep. So let's talk about cloud. It's really hard. So let's talk about cloud. So in this cloud, the same example. So here you have a machine and you want to upgrade that. Here what you are actually doing here is you are taking the approvals, and if it is a physical infrastructure and it is really hard for you in order to upgrade this. It takes a lot of time and it kills your time, and even business developers who are working on this machine, they don't have work until unless this machine is ready. The same example, if you take the cloud, you can just within fraction of 5 minutes you can create a server there, and you can even let's say you got a same scenario, let's say so within 5 minutes you can actually create a server, and you can even, let's say you got the same scenario here, and if you want to migrate the server or if you want to upgrade the server, and you don't need any approvals. In fact, let's say if your manager says, hey, go and approve this, then it takes just a fraction of seconds. No need to take down the service or no need to stop any server. So within fraction of seconds, even you can upgrade the server, and so it is happening within fraction of seconds. So let's say you don't have any requirement. Now developer says like, hey, we are done with the project and we don't have that requirement. In that scenario, you can even downgrade the server, like upgrading the sizes and now downgrading the sizes. It's actually a good feature in Microsoft Azure cloud technology, where it actually saves your billing. So let's say you have upgraded let's say the entire cost of this physical infrastructure, it takes almost like assume it it needs air conditioner, It needs again a developer like system administrator, server administrator, network admin, storage admin. There are a lot of administrators involved in this in managing completely on-premises infrastructure. If it is a cloud, only a single cloud support engineer can handle all the stuff. Okay, so it doesn't take, as I said, it is very fast. That's the reason we just mentioned the speed in our slide. Just let me go back to the slide.
It's the default model hourly.
So billing will be like pay as you go basis. How much you use, that much you pay. So which
Hourly or is it monthly?
it's even hourly. I mean, let's say if you use it for 5 minutes also, that 5 minutes also is counted. So by default on time basis, how much time you use, that much time you have to pay. Yeah.
Hello, Shiva. This is Sai Kiran.
One second, okay. Right. I'll tell you. Our next topic is I'll tell you that. Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Now, compared to AWS, Microsoft is supported to only a paper second mode, no?
Sorry?
Compared to AWS is only hour-based pricing, but Azure is a per minute pricing now.
Right.
That is main difference between AWS and Azure. Is it right or not?
The question is like, so AWS is like hourly basis and Azure is like permanent basis. It's not permanent, even you can say like, let's say you have used let's think about it like hourly basis, but in fact you have used that machine only for half an hour. Okay. For that half an hour, and what is the sizes? Let's say a virtual machine has a different type of configuration. On your configuration, depends upon your usage, okay, the cost will be, you will get a booking from the Microsoft. That's how it is being managed. So we are calling it as pay as you go basis. Don't think about the subscription level. We have a subscription called pay as you go. Don't confuse with it, because after this I'm going to explain about the subscriptions also, so you will get a clarity about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, be on mute, please. So next, the second topic is scale. So as I said, it's very easy to scale up and scale down, and and the billing also. Let's say morning hours at 9 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock, it is our business hours, and the developer starts writing some code on that machine. So in that scenario, you can even use the configuration of 16 GB of your virtual machine, and let's say developer leaves at 6 o'clock, you can downgrade that machine to from 16 GB to 2 GB, or it completely depends upon your usage. So what's happening there? 12 hours you are decreasing the size, which means like you are actually saving your billing in this scenario. This is like scale up and scale down. Even we have automation facility here. We call them as auto scale up and auto scale down. We'll discuss those in upcoming sessions. And economic, as I said, it is lower cost. When you compare with the physical infrastructure, so current cloud environment is completely a lower cost environment. So let's go back to another slide. And as you guys already know, we have a lot of cloud service providers in the market. So NetSuite, Microsoft Azure, AWS, Salesforce, Google Cloud, Cisco, and IBM. So right now, Amazon is the best. Azure is a good competitor for AWS. AWS is number one in the market, as everyone knows. So why should I use only Microsoft Azure? Because Amazon was initially started in 2006, and Azure was launched in 2010. 2008 officially announced, but it was launched in 2010 February. So during that time, it was in the 25th position. But in 2018, by 2017 only, it is a good competitor for AWS, which is in number one position. Right now, I can say that Microsoft Azure is in second position, and it is giving a good competition. Maybe in next year or upcoming years, we can even assume that it may beat AWS, because the services, let's say, AWS is constant. Let's say, long back they have, they are completely into cloud technology, and they have good resources and the good features. But Microsoft, randomly they are actually upgrading their features. So let's say we got a new technology in the market, data science. Nowadays it's a hot cake in the market right now. And also Hadoop, big data. So in cloud computing, initially when these guys came into the picture in the cloud computing, these guys don't support these big data or data sciences. But slowly when AWS launched that service, even Microsoft Azure is also started it. So they're actually giving good competition in order to provide all these new technologies in the cloud environment. So right now, each and if you say Microsoft Azure, it is having Hadoop technology. It is having let's say data science features, and also we can say data center. Let's talk about the data centers first. So Microsoft has large number of data centers when compared with AWS. Twice than AWS and 6 times greater than Google Cloud. That's the reason you can go with Microsoft Azure, and it has a n number of features when compared with AWS. And also in terms of speed and capacity, let's talk about a virtual machine. It's highest configuration used in this Microsoft Azure is like now it's like 472 GB and almost like 76 CPUs, which means like 76 cores and 456 GB of RAM. You may get a doubt like who is using this much of configuration? Because we have right now in the market we have a scenario of big data. So in order to process that much of data, so you need these high computing resources in order to process the data. So Azure is actually giving a huge amount of configuration for a single virtual machine in order to manage that huge big data. So we'll discuss why Azure is actually providing all this stuff and what are the benefits that you're going to get. So let's quickly see all the certifications that we have with Microsoft Azure. So currently we have 3 types of certification, guys. So first one is developer certification. It is called 7532, which is purely like developing Microsoft Azure solutions. So what you're going to learn in the certificate. So if you just do the certificate, let's say you should have a prior knowledge of development like .NET, C#, Java, Python. So if you are a developer in the market right now, so this is actually the best suitable certification for you. If you do the certification, you will know how to write some code and how to develop applications in the cloud infrastructure. So by using this 7532, you can implement your application on Azure infrastructure. So this certification will cost you like it's like 5,300 rupees in Indian currency, and you need to book a slot prior to this, and then I'll guide you for that certification part and all. So let's quickly talk about the second certification. So it is 7533, what we are actually discussing about. So implementing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solution. This is pure administration-based certifications. Let's say who are into a system admin background, who are into server admin background, or who are into this network administration or storage administration. So those guys, are a fresher. So those guys who are actually new to this cloud platform can even learn this certification. So what we are actually going to discuss here is, you will know, let's say as a virtualization or as a server administrator, you know how to create Windows server or a Linux server. Let's say you don't know how to do that in a cloud environment. So here in this certification, we will see how to deploy your resources in the cloud. Let's say how to deploy a storage, how to deploy networking resources, how to deploy servers, how to deploy databases. And you don't need any particular knowledge on that. Let's say if you are a database admin, yes, you can go with the certification. You are a server admin, yes, you can go. So we have all the components involved. Let's say you don't need a particular database, particular administrators here. Let's say you don't need any separate server administrators, separate DB administrators, nothing like that. A single cloud administrator can handle this 7533 and he can handle all these components like networking, storage, DB, everything he can only manage. So you don't need any prior knowledges. I mean, you can even, you can start fresh. So if you are a fresher, you don't know this cloud components, even we are going to start from the scratch. So that's the reason it's very easy for you guys in order to start this 533. So what we are actually going to cover in this is, we will see how to deploy all the stuff, and also we are going to see the main topic called troubleshooting. So let's say if you are trying to deploy a resource and let's say you have failed with that. So in order to check the fail error, so we have only option of checking error. What is the error? And here in this session, we are going to cover the troubleshooting part also, which means like as I said in the initial demo session. So we are going to talk about, what we say, troubleshooting that particular error message and how to dig deeper and how to fix this issue in production environment. So we are gonna I have the real-time environment as well also ready with me. So I'll just compare that with and I'll show you how to fix those issues. So this is purely for the guys. This certification is purely for the IT professionals, IT pros. So the certification cost is like is also 5,300 to 600 rupees. I mean the cost is around like earlier it is like 4,800 rupees plus GST. So right now I heard that it is like 5,600 rupees. So if you are after the 30-day session, so you're gonna clear this 7533. I'm giving you 100% guarantee because I know an exam center where you can go ahead and you can book a slot and you can write the exam, but I'll be there in order to help you in that exam center. So it's a 100% guarantee that you're gonna clear this 7533 if you are a Hyderabad resident. So otherwise, we have a second method also. I mean, we'll talk about this later. So now final certification. So currently this certification is called 7534, but in fact this 534 was depreciated, which means like removed by Microsoft because this is old right now in the market. Now this was changed as 7535. What does this 7535 do? This is like architecting Microsoft as a solution. So architecting Microsoft as a solutions in the sense, these guys are the architects who let's say a project came to your company, and these people they will give some design, architectural design to the support team, and then support team starts building that, and after that developers write some code and in order to develop their application. We'll see it in a diagrammatical way. Just let me quickly. Yep. So we are actually talking about the certifications part here. So
Shiva, this is Manish.
yeah, Manish, please go ahead.
I'm from SQL DBA background. Which certifications help me then?
So it's a 7533. So SQL, so you are a SQL administrator. Then, so are you an administrator or a developer?
Administrator, only DBA, SQL DBA.
Okay. So if you are an administrator, then it's, as I said, IT professional certification like 7533 is the best suitable certification. That's what actually I am actually gonna, teach you here in this 829 batch. So you can obviously go with the certification. And currently I'm actually explaining that part. So don't worry, just see this demo right now. So currently you have, as I said, we have 7535. It's architecting Microsoft as a solution. So these guys who are into architect background, let's say a client walked into your company and he gave some project to you. He gave a project in order to develop a web application. Okay. Now this guy will completely understand the requirement of this project, and he will assume, okay, these many resources are required for this project, and he will start creating one sample design within this Azure by using Azure infrastructure. Let's say this guy has prepared a plan. For this simple example I can give you, let's say you want to construct one house, and what you will do, you have certain budget and you will go to a contract engineer. So you will tell him that, hey, this is my budget and I want to build some house. This is my place. So he will start preparing a plan for you within your budget. And what you will do with this plan? So, okay, if you are okay with the plan, you will proceed and you will start by using the labor work. So you start constructing your houses. So here in second phase, this guy has prepared a plan, and second phase, he's sharing with 7533 guys who are into IT professionals. So these guys are like, administrators. Their work is to start building their infrastructure. like let's say this guy is told like in order to prepare this web application, he in this architecture diagram he shared, you need 3 servers and 2 databases and 2 web apps and some networking components and some storage components. So these all stuff with all the names in this architecture diagrams, you will have all the names and configurations what you need to use or what you need to create. So once this architecture is approved by your management, and then it will comes to you. So 533 guy needs to create all these resources in the Azure infrastructure. So he will be the admin for the current cloud account. So this guy starts preparing the infrastructure. Once the infrastructure is ready, he will send an email, confirmation email to the management. Now, 532 guys, 532 guys, as I said, the developers who start writing their code. Now they will access these servers and they start writing their code on those machines. So once the code, everything is ready, now testers, and there are a lot of phases in development again. I think you guys are familiar with SDLC, software development lifecycle. Here these guys, they test that application. Once that application is ready, now they will deliver it to the client. So after that, so do you need all these resources? No. So again, the work comes to the 533 guys. Hey, we are done with the project and we can delete all these resources. Now they start deleting all these resources in order to save the billing. So which means like you are done with the project, and how much time, let's say the project time is estimated time is like 1 month. So you're gonna take 1 month, and only for the 1 month you are actually bearing this infrastructure cost. After 1 month you are actually removing everything and then you are saving your billing. So that's how you are actually delivering the project. So I think you have understood what is the current role in this current scenario, in this current IT market scenario. So this is our current situation where we need to deploy all these resources, create all these servers as per the requirement, whether the requirement is from the architect level or a management level or from the developers. So our task is to just deploy the resources. In case of any deployment, if the deployment is failed, we need to troubleshoot those deployments. So it may be a storage account, or it may be servers or dailies, as they said. You need to troubleshoot that. And also one more important concept that we are going to cover in this in this particular session is migrations. So few people I think who have attended my first demo have I think have come across all these stuff, because as I said, I already work with Microsoft in my previous company, Microsoft. I worked as a global senior support engineer, so for the Microsoft Azure product. So here my task is to support the global customers of Microsoft. Let's say they got some deployment issues. Right now, what is the Azure situation? I'll tell you. So let's say the sample example. Let me remove the migration. I'll cover this. So let's say you got a deployment failure. You have a requirement and your manager requested you to create a server. Otherwise, you got a support request in order to create a server. So server with some Windows 2016 and okay, the storage, networking part, everything covers under this. Okay, you started creating the server and suddenly you have created the server successfully. It is showing a successful message also, but the machine is not starting, or you are unable to RDP to this machine. You are unable to connect to this machine. So IP address, you are able to ping that IP address, but you are unable to connect to this machine. Then in this scenario, what you will do? Who doesn't know the troubleshooting part? Because outside no one is actually teaching you the troubleshooting part. What you will do here is, we have Microsoft Azure support plans. Azure support plans in order to raise a support request with Microsoft Teams. So if you go to the Azure portal on the top, I'll show you that part. Let me open my browser.
Migration. What are we migrating?
I'll tell you. This is not a migration. I'll cover that after this. So this is the sample Azure portal guide. So even it's a free trial also looks the same, and Even your premium account also, premium Azure account also looks the same. But this is the Azure account. I mean, this is the same for any type of Azure accounts. So the look will be same as it is. If you see here, I have couple of resources in my current Azure account. See, these are all the features you have, and if you these are the favorite button. Under this favorite, I just added all this stuff. But if you go to all services, you have different types of components. So you have all the stuff available. A lot of components which are related to some general cost related. And if you see the compute, we have all types of virtual machines, data related. And if you go to the storage section, you have all the stuff. So there are a lot of features in Microsoft Azure. We'll see each and everything in upcoming sessions. But as we are discussing about some connectivity issue for the virtual machine, and I'm discussing about the support plan. Let's say I have a sample VM, Windows VM. Let's say when I'm trying to connect to this machine, I'm unable to connect to it. So let's say if you are actually new to the cloud or you don't know the troubleshooting, because outside no one is teaching you the troubleshooting part. So if I am unable to connect to this machine, I have an option here on the top. I have called help option. So when I click on that, I have an option to select help and support. When I click on that, I'll get a chance to raise a support request with Microsoft Teams. So I just clicked on help and support. Now I got a chance to raise a new support request. So I'm just specifying the reason here. Hey, I just have got some connectivity issue with my server. But in fact, is it possible to raise a support request with Microsoft Teams? Yes, it is possible, but you need to purchase the support plan. So we have different types of support plans. So Microsoft earlier when they launched in 2010 until 2016, so it is for free of cost. Support is completely free. Right now they have actually, it's a premium service. So you have different support of plans like basic, standard, and premium. So I worked with standard and premium. So basic is nothing but a free trial account where they only have a chance to raise a support issues related to subscription, not with the technical stuff. Let's say this is completely under technical stuff. As a 533 admin engineer, you should be a techie. So then you need to raise a technical request. You don't have that option in order to raise a technical support request. Then how do you troubleshoot it or how do you fix it? So that's what I'm actually going to do. So as I worked with the Microsoft team earlier, so I'm going to cover that troubleshooting part also, not only with the server. Let's say if it is a database connectivity, let's say if it is a storage related connectivity, let's say if it is a network related issue. So we are going to cover all that type of troubleshooting here in this Microsoft Azure 33 certification. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll just quickly go to the migrations topic. So what are the topics that we are going to cover under the migration? So let me clean the screen.
Hello.
Okay. Yes. Who is this?
Yeah, it's me, Karunakar. Just I joined to the class, demo class.
Okay.
So I have some queries on this actually.
Okay.
Hello?
Is it related to the same point which I'm actually discussing on the board? Or a different?
Actually, I know little bit of Azure basics. So I already am working in Windows administrator performance and AD and Exchange, but I want to learn Azure technology in depth and with the end-to-end troubleshooting steps, because we don't have any we don't have any premium and standard support for every client. Hello.
Karunakar, what we will do is we'll discuss this at the end of the class, because everyone are in the class and they are waiting for the demo. So that's the reason I was continuing. So end of the class, I will just whenever I'll say if you have any questions, you can stop me and you can ask me the same. Okay, I'll answer you because we're almost done with the session. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Be on mute. So I'll address your questions at the end of the session. So otherwise we can have a personal call. So yeah. I am actually talking about the migration stuff here. So migrations. So right now migrations are the hard kicks, because a lot of companies, startup companies, not only startup companies, even TCS also started using the Microsoft Azure right now, and they do have AWS, but recently using this Azure. So a lot of companies are actually going to the cloud technology, because cloud technology is really cheap and it is really fast, and it is easy to migrate your on-premises infrastructure into the cloud. So if I'm talking with migration stuff, so what are the things that I want to migrate? let's say I'm going to cover the server migration, whether it may be Windows. Windows in the sense we have all types of flavors like 2012, 2016, 2008, and normal client operating system like Windows 2008, 2007, Windows 7, 8, 10, and all the stuff. It may be a client operating system or it may be a server operating system. So if it is a Linux, we have Red Hat, Ubuntu, and there are a lot of operating systems that is Microsoft is supporting. So different types of flavors here. So we are going to cover DB migration, database migration here, and we are going to cover data migration because data is really important. So we are going to migrate data migration, and we are going to see this application migration. Application, whether it may be a DB oriented, database oriented application, or it is a normal static application, static or web, or web based, it may be web based or Android or anything, any kind of application. So we'll see. I will show you how to create a sample application in Visual Studio, and I'll show you how to migrate this by using Visual Studio or by using manual process as well. So we are going to cover all the stuff in migration. Let's see if you fail to migrate anything, if you get any kind of real-time issues, we'll also cover this part, how to troubleshoot that scenario. Okay. So these are all the additional topics that we are going to cover in this.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So regarding the express route and VPNs, are we going to do anything related to that?
I'm going to cover that VPN topic as well, because we have a couple of VPN topics. Let's say this question is like, be on mute. I'll just explain you the question. So, the question is like, so am I going to cover this VPN topic? Because VPN, virtual private networks. So how to connect to this on-premises network and cloud infrastructure. So we have a couple of options here. Let me just put it on the screen. So VPNs. So in Azure, we have a couple of virtual private network concepts here. So in this, we are going to cover point to site, site to site. So I'm going to show you the lab for this, point to site, and what would you say, express routes. So for express routes, I can't show you the lab part because we need some hardware configurations for this, like some routers and all. So I do have a recorded session for this because I have done it in my previous company. So I have that recorded session. I'll share with you guys so you can go through that recording, but I'll explain you the concept, how it happens and what is the site recovery. And also we are going to discuss about cross-premise connectivity. Cross-premise connectivity is kind of new stuff for you, which means like, in this part, you are actually seeing VNet to VNet connectivity. VNet to VNet, cross-premises, which means like at different networks, we're actually managing connection between them. We are calling this VNet to VNet connectivity as cross-premise connectivity. So who are into networking background, so they can easily understand this stuff, but other guys who are not actually familiar with this topic, it's a new for them. So don't worry guys, I'll explain you each and every point, what is a point to site, and I will take, point to site will be a single class, and where I will explain you what you're going to achieve by using this point to site VPN connection, and how, in which scenario you're going to use this. And we'll also see the lab, how to implement this in Azure Cloud, and I'll try to show you with my laptop connectivity from point to site and site to site, express routes, cross-premise connectivity. So we are going to cover all this stuff. So let me quickly go back to my demo part. So we have completely covered the certifications part here, and if you see here, so as I said, Microsoft Azure is it's an open and flexible cloud platform, and we have already discussed all these scenarios. Build, manage applications across global networks. Global networks, it's a kind of a tricky thing. Let me explain you this. So if I say global networks, which means I'm just talking about the global networks. What is a global network? First of all, let's say you are from India and you have a customer from US. You are actually developing some application from India, and he gave a project to you. You wrote the code and you are actually hosting it in your Indian server. Let's assume you are hosting it in South India, because Azure has a data center in South India. You are from South India. Let's say you are from Hyderabad region. So you are hosting it in Hyderabad region, Hyderabad server. So if your customer, if he is trying to access this application from all over the globe, see, he is from US and he is trying to connect your Hyderabad server. It takes really hard in order to connect. Let's say you may have latencies, you may have network issues. There are a lot of stuff here. So in order to avoid this, if you are using Azure cloud here, Microsoft data centers are across all over the world. So even you can create your server, or even you can host that application in US data center. Let's say the customer is in East US. So if he is in East US, you can just directly deploy that application, whatever you have created from your local laptop to East US region, and it's really easy for him in order to access that. Let's say all the customers from US are accessing that machine, then it's really easy for them in order to connect to it without any kind of network issues. So not only US, you can even host in any any region like Asia region. So Microsoft, as I said, Microsoft is supporting a lot of data. Microsoft has a lot of data centers. In fact, you can even host as per your convenience. So if you see this diagram, so this is a sample Microsoft Azure data center. So these are all the racks that we have. These are all the servers. So who is going to manage all this data center? We have separate data center administrators, and the complete automation tools are being used here in this data center. We'll speak when I'm actually discussing about the troubleshooting part. I'll tell you we have a fabric controller kind of stuff in the data center, so which is actually managing the entire automation in data centers. I'll tell you that in troubleshooting. So if you see this third one, so build applications using any language, because earlier when Microsoft initially launched this Azure product, so it started supporting the .NET only, because Microsoft product is .NET. So it started only .NET, and other platform guys who are into this other platform like Java and all, they started hating it because it was only supporting one feature. So right now it's supporting all kind of platforms, all kind of frameworks and tools. Let's say you can even go with Java, or you can go with Python, or you can go with any kind of language or a framework. So it is supporting all the stuff, and it is cloud technology. Really, it is very easy in order to integrate with your on-premises in the sense your office infrastructure. It is really easy in order to integrate with your office applications, and you can even simply sync that data into your cloud, or you can host that application into the cloud by using this integration services. So we are going to cover this topic as well in upcoming session.
Hey, one question regarding the network, and do we really need an express route in order to communicate the Azure from on-prem, or we just need one? Only the VPN is good enough for access it.
So okay, the question is like, I think you can be on mute. I'll answer your question. The question is like, is it really required in order to use express route? So guys who are not into the networking background, it will be new for you. So express routes is a feature where you can connect your on-premises network to the cloud. So I'll tell you in which scenario you're gonna use this express routes. So the question is, so is it really required to use express routes in order to connect your on-premises network with your cloud environment? So in fact, it's completely your kind of requirement. Let's say you have a requirement, then it's your option to use this feature. Otherwise, you can go with a simple connectivities like site-to-site recovery or a point-to-site recovery. It completely depends upon your requirement. Let's say you want a good bandwidth, then you can obviously go with express routes. Currently, people started using these express routes because you are gonna get a speed of 10 Gbps per second. 10 Gbps, and if you are using with site recovery, you are gonna get 100 Mbps per second. So there are slight differences actually. So don't worry, we are gonna cover that topic, and I'll show you the implementation part in the cloud. Okay, quickly going back to the PPT here.
Yeah, so actually,
Sure.
I'm planning to implement a new SAP system, SAP HANA, and so yeah, I'm just looking in that topic more.
Okay, so as I said, express routes, we can't show you it in the cloud environment, but as I said, the VPN concept, all the VPN concepts we can cover it in the Azure session. But I'll tell you how to use this express routes, and what is the benefit that you're gonna get, and what is this express routes. I'll explain you in the Azure part, but as I said, we need some piece of physical hardware in express routes. So we are gonna cover that in this section, in this Azure 75.
Yeah, we also going to do the bare metal hardware as well, right? Because Azure is doing some dedicated bare metal hardware instead of VMs. And for so, are we going to cover those things as well, or?
No. That topic that doesn't come under 7533 actually. It's again you're actually going deeper and deeper. So we will talk about the end of the session because I'm just need to continue this PPT. So okay, we'll just discuss in a private call, or you can end of the session. You can even ask me the doubts. So I'll answer you because let me complete this stuff because I just came to the end. So quickly going back here, as I said, we have a lot of data centers. So, currently in India, we have in two data centers, South India and West India. One is from Chennai region and one is from Mumbai region. We have two data centers. Let's say if you want to host your applications, you can host it from anywhere in the world. So if you see here, this is a kind of old PPT, guys, because, it's not 19 regions now. It is, more than 19 regions. The Microsoft data centers are hosted. And if you see here, 100 plus data centers are there on Microsoft Azure is using top 3 networks in the world, in order to provide the good coverage, speed, and connections. And also, as I said, it is double than AWS data centers and 6 times greater than Google number of offered regions. You see here. So currently, G series is the largest VM available in the market. It's not G series right now; it's H series. And as I said, it's not 32, 72 cores and 464 or 476 GB RAM with a solid state drive. So this is the highest configuration VM that is available in the market right now in the cloud environment when compared with AWS or Google Cloud. So these are the benefits that you're gonna get, and it's very easy for you in order to use the global network, and you can host your applications or you can create your servers anywhere in the world, anywhere in the data center. So which is feasible for you and which is convenient for you. And let's go back. So these are the 3 important cloud models. So IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So infrastructure as a service is like, if you see the diagram here, so here Microsoft is managing virtualization, server, storage, and networking, which means like infrastructure. Simple. In the question itself, infrastructure as a service, you have the answer. Microsoft is providing the infrastructure for you. They are not providing the application inside the, let's say, infrastructure in the sense like servers, databases, they are actually providing for you. But inside that application, let's say you want some Visual Studio application or you want some other applications inside the server or a databases, you need to manage them. That's what this diagram represents. So you need to manage your applications, you need to manage your data, you need to manage your operating system. Let's say Windows or Linux operating systems need to be patched, which means like you need to update them randomly. So in order to update them, you need to take care of the patching stuff. If it is infrastructure as a service, let's just compare with the platform as a service. If you see here, Microsoft started managing few other things here when compared with IaaS. So here it is managing the OS, middleware, and runtime, so virtualization. So what's happening here is, you don't need to, patch your servers or you don't need to worry about your infrastructure. Let's say you created a server and you are hosting some web application here in this infrastructure as a service. Web application in the sense you hosted a website from a single server, and every weekend you need to take care of the maintenance part. You need to update the Windows patches and you need to do a lot of maintenance work in this server. But here your maintenance work is reduced, completely reduced. You no need to worry about the infrastructure at all. So if you are using a platform as a service, that's the reason platform as a service is a completely hot cake in the market right now. Companies started using this platform as a service, and there is no, actually a support engineer is not required. Let's say in this infrastructure as a service, you need a 3 support engineers in order to manage some 30 VMs or 50 VMs. But here only one guy is more than enough, because it's completely reducing the resources here by using this platform as a service. So even it is a costly feature in Azure, but people started using, because this is not going with this your business, in critical scenarios like, let's say some disaster recoveries or in those kind of scenarios, Microsoft is actually replicating your data with some other data center. So your data will not, you're not going to lose your data. So in fact, because it is being managed by Microsoft. So in this scenario, you need to completely manage your stuff. You need to start taking the backups. You need to start managing all your stuff. You need to be ready for the disaster scenarios. So here, Microsoft is being taking care of everything. And if you
Sorry
see
to
here,
interrupt you.
application,
Shivan,
yeah,
sorry to
please
interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
How data is safe in the cloud?
How data is safe in the cloud?
Safe in the cloud, right?
Yeah, if I'll just share you my first demo video, so you can go through that, because this is not actually the demo. Just this is the kind of intro plus demo part I'm actually covering. So if you see the demo video, I'll just speak with the visual path management and get the demo video, so you have the answer for that. It's really lengthy again. So okay, yep. So if you see here, as we are only managing, as I said, infrastructure is being managed by Microsoft, and currently, currently we are actually managing the application and its data. Let's say, as I said, I'm hosting a website on the server. I need to manage all the stuff. But here, I need to take care of that website data. Whatever, let's say, if I am hosting some Flipkart application on my server, and that Flipkart data only I need to manage. Let's say there is a Visual Studio application and its data only you need to bother. Otherwise, you don't need to bother about the infrastructure. If you get any kind of connectivity issues, we have a troubleshooting for that. I'll teach you. And SaaS. So this, you are not even managing application and its data. Just you are hosting your application and you are leaving for the Microsoft. Entire Microsoft is completely being managing this particular platform. This in 7533, guys, we are not going to cover this software as a service. Just for your understanding, I just explained you this cloud models. We are going to see on-premises infrastructure, how it looks like, and what is the difference between these on-premises and cloud. And we are going to see infrastructure as a service, and we are going to cover platform as a service. But software as a service, the best example is like MS Office 2016. So in 2016 application MS Office, you're going to get good security, and this is completely hosted on a SaaS platform. So what is the benefit of using this SaaS? Let me give a small example. Initially, guys, we are familiar with MS Office 2007, right? So in that, when we are using 2007, so why actually they have upgraded the 2007 to MS Office 2007 to 2016? So I'm just discussing about SaaS here. So this is a cloud-based hosting. So we have a cloud environment. So Microsoft has a server or a database where this Office 2016 or 360 Office 365 is hosted on cloud. Right now, this is in the cloud. Now, earlier in 2007, MS Office 2007. Let's say if you want to, if you need that software, you'll ask your friend, hey, I need this MS Office 2007 software. And what he will do, he'll just copy that in a pen drive, or he will just upload it to the Google Drive, and he will share it. So along with that, you are even copying the license also, which means like you are pirating that application, which is a business loss for a company like Microsoft. So they are actually investing a lot of money in that, and they are developing that application, and if you are simply pirating that, it's a loss to the business. So loss of business again here. So in order to avoid that, we have this SaaS technology in cloud. So here we just developed one application and we are hosting it in the cloud. Now Microsoft is completely managing the cloud infrastructure, and you are just putting your application on the cloud. Let's say if a customer wants to download this or use it, first user 1, okay, he purchases the license. So in order to download that application, he need to web authentication. He need to first of all log in with a Microsoft account. Let's say people nowadays having Outlook account or Hotmail account. So he can connect with that Hotmail or Outlook account to the cloud MS Office site, and he can download that application by purchasing that. So he's a genuine user. Let's say we have a second user. He's not a genuine guy. So he don't have that particular license here. So now he want to download it. He will search online. He will search online, in order to download this Office 2016. But in fact, you will not get the setup file similarly like 2007. You don't have a setup file, guys. You have some shortcut file which will be downloaded in your local machine. Whenever you double click on that machine, normal application installation, right? When you double click on that application, it will actually send all your data related to your machine, like IP address, MAC address, everything to the cloud. Now the cloud, here it is storing your details with that particular license. So this license belongs to only particular IP address, particular MAC address of particular user. Let's say the second person, he share that license with you. And if you are trying to access that to the cloud, and it will ask you to authenticate. So if you are not giving the proper credentials, then it is not allowing you to install that application in your second machine. So if you are a valid user, then you will use your proper web authentication and you will access that. So here, what we are actually doing, we are actually restricting the users in order to pirate an application. So which, in this scenario, you can even, you're not getting any kind of business loss here. So other guys, who are not having the license, they are unable to use this application. So this is the scenario where you use this SaaS technology. It's, this is being completely hosted by the, managed by the Microsoft. And this is completely, a SaaS administration is completely when compared with 7533 administration, as I am discussing right now. So as I said, as per the PPT, I'm going to cover infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and on-premises. Currently, we are going to see this because in 533 certification also, you're going to mostly, you'll be asked only for the questions related to IaaS and PaaS. So we are going to see how to troubleshoot all the stuff in the cloud, in our real-time scenarios. So what about the PowerShell? So currently, in order to manage the Azure account, so we need a PowerShell. So why PowerShell? We can even create the resource by using Azure portal that I have showed you earlier, but we can also, we can also use PowerShell. Let's say you want to create a virtual machine in portal. It takes 2 to 3 minutes in order to create it. But let's say you want to create 5 to 10 virtual machines at a time. So then you need to use Azure PowerShell. So if you just create that script, and if you, whenever, let's say you can even schedule that script. Let's say if you are not available in the office right now, let's say you want to create during US hours, evening at 10 o'clock. So night 10 o'clock, you want to create 5 virtual machines in some US data center. If you write PowerShell script and if you schedule that, automatically at 10 o'clock, it starts creating those machines without your interference. So that is called Azure automation. So we are going to cover that Azure automation in 7533, and also I'll also teach you the PowerShell. So parallelly, let's say if you see today, let's say if you are discussing about virtual machine or storage or networking creation. Similarly, parallelly, we are going to cover the PowerShell deployment also. How to write a simple PowerShell code and how to deploy the same resources with PowerShell. So that's the benefit that you're gonna get in this 7533. So no prior knowledge is required, guys. PowerShell, I think few guys are not. They are not even familiar with the PowerShell concept. So don't worry, Azure PowerShell is completely different when compared with normal PowerShell. You need to download a module, and we have a different set of commands we are gonna cover in day-by-day sessions. So within 30 days, you're gonna complete this Azure PowerShell along with the 7533 certification. So I'm done with my session. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. So first, I'll go with online batch. So if you have any questions, you can go with the questions. Or you can even, if you want to speak with me privately, you just inform the visual part so that they will arrange some conference call so that we can have a discussion. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, sure. Like SQL Azure also includes in this, or like is that anything different?
Yes, SQL Azure, but we are gonna see, as I said, I think Manish is speaking. So SQL Azure, in the sense, we are gonna cover the database part. So I will show you how to create the SQL databases in the cloud, and I'll show you how to connect the SQL databases in the cloud. And also we'll see, let's say if you get any kind of connectivity issues or troubleshooting kind of scenarios. So I'll teach you that part, and we're gonna see the migration stuff also. Migrating on-premises SQL databases to the cloud also I'm gonna cover in this session. It's a part of it's a part of the course. Yeah. Okay.
Hi Sivan, Rag this side.
I didn't see your name. Yeah, Anurag. Yeah. Please go ahead, Anurag.
I have few queries to answer. So can I have your 2 minutes in private? Because
no problem. Just speak with the visual part. Yeah. Just contact the visual part so that they will arrange some conference call so we can have a discussion regarding your private question. Not a problem.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. You're welcome. So
hello, sure. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Karnakar here. Me too. Actually, I need to discuss something about the Azure. So in a private session, we need like 5 minutes. Yeah. Give me a call, or I will call you back, and we will discuss briefly. Okay.
It's Visual Path policy that I should not share the phone number with you guys. So just contact the visual part. They will, they'll arrange some private call so we can have a conference call. Okay, not a problem.
Okay, right.
Okay, you can whatever the questions you have, you can just bring it up so that I'll answer those questions in private.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Hi Shiva, I am Blesson.
Yeah, bless.
Yeah, how many days this course duration?
So the course duration is 30 days.
Okay.
So what actually I'm gonna do here is, in this 30 days, you don't have the classes on Saturdays and Sundays. So,
okay.
But parallelly we'll cover. Let's say if some people, they want to complete it in as soon as possible. So in those scenarios, as per the batch requirement, and let's say, so currently we have a lot of people in the demo, and it's not expected, there will be a final at the final end of when you are starting the batches, so people around will be like 10 or 15. So during that time, we will speak with them and we'll arrange the classes in weekends also. I mean, if it is online or online is fine, or if it is a classroom training, that is also fine. So we'll arrange the classes and we'll complete the ramp up the session very fast. So not a problem with that. So it takes 30 days for you in order to learn the PowerShell, in order to learn the Azure cloud deployments and the troubleshooting part, the migrations also.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
Are we going? You can do it from the Visual Path team.
Okay, sure. And what about the practicals?
Practicals, that's what daily, Azure in the sense that daily you will be having the lab session only. First, initial session, 15 minutes will be like, let's say today I have done with my class. You need to practice the stuff in your home, and let's say tomorrow you come to the class and first 15 minutes will be like, questions only. Like what is the issues that you have faced, or let's say you have some issues. You can discuss those questions with me. If you don't have any questions, I can straightforward go into the class and then I'll explain the first topic and then I will start showing the lab in the class itself.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to go the classes.
Shiva, this is Sai Kiran.
Yes, Sai Kiran.
Would you provide any Azure accounts to do the creation of only free trial? You are using a credit card.
Azure account creation needs credit card. It requires the proof in your credit card, but that too will be it is 2 to 3 hours. So you need to take care of your own.
Hello, Shiva, your voice is not clear.
So Sai Kiran, please mute your mic so that others can hear. So are you able to hear now? Hello, are you able to hear now?
Yes.
Yeah. So the account related question. So he's asking like whether I'm gonna provide this Azure free trial account or you need to manage it on your own. So the answer for this is, guys, you need to have a credit card for this. So you need to have a 2 rupees balance in your account. So once you provide the credit card details, that will be automatically validated, and then the 2 rupees will be credited within 3 to 4 hours. So once the that account will be available for 30 days. So after 30 days, the account will be expired and no other amount will be debited from your credit card. So don't worry with that part. Just only for validation or authentication purpose, they're asking for the credit card details. So you need to manage it on your own. But in my first session, I'll explain you how to create an account using the credit card. I'll guide you the entire process.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello,
Yeah, Karnataka.
Yeah, we have the option for 1 year, right? We will use one link.
We have the option for 1 year, but depends upon the lab. So the lab part, we are going to cover all the components in Azure, right? So that won't be sufficient for you. Only for 1 month you can use it, and after that you can create another account by using different email ID and different card. You can practice it on it. So that's what I'm actually going to tell you.
Yeah, sure. Hello, Shiva.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm a job holder. Actually, we have the rotation shifts like morning, afternoon, and night. So how can I able to cover that training? Like if I join the training, so hello.
Let's say you are actually, I got the question. Your scenario is like you are a job or you are a working employee and you have some rotation shifts. And how do you manage the classes? Let's say if you are working in night, it's really hard for you in order to attend the morning 8 o'clock batch. So in that scenario, as you are joining from the online, So you have this recording sessions available. Let's say you missed 2 or 3 days, you can even get the recordings on daily basis. Let's say today's session is done, you'll get an email from the visual part stating that, hey, this is your today's video. So you can just go through that video whenever you got a free time, and even you can, you'll be in the same path where we are actually. So if you cover those videos, that's the only one option, because by just keeping all those other guys in mind, so we have just planned this session at 8 o'clock, because a few other guys are also the working employees, so it should not interfere with the office timing. So that's the reason just arranged at 8 o'clock. So you should search yourself only for this 30 days. If you would like to learn the Azure stuff, then really, you need to search yourself.
Means you have another batch like 9:30 or 10 o'clock.
Earlier, I do manage the 3 batches. Even I am also working in a company, and recently got promoted as assistant manager right now. So I'm actually busy. So I'm actually taking this time. I'm actually taking only 1 batch. So earlier, I was actually managing 3 batches, one for US students and one for two batches for Indian India guys. So there are a couple of students from Kerala. All over the India, like Kerala, Nepal, and few people from like North India as well. So right now I'm only handling 1 batch, parallel batch, that's online as well as classroom training. So currently you guys are online, and I have few people with me currently in Visual Path office. So we have a parallel classroom training batch as well. So only 1 batch. I'll just let you know when we are starting another batch. Let's say if you are having another batch, I'll just inform Visual Path team to inform you that regarding the batch timing. Okay.
Current or what is the timing? You're like 8 o'clock to 9?
8 to 9.
It's 8 to 9, right?
Yeah, 8 to 9.
Okay.
Is there any possible to start the Azure plus DevOps classes? Training?
Azure DevOps is completely advanced, because let's say, can you please mute your mic? Okay. So Azure DevOps is like, it's a kind of advanced concept. Let's say if I start directly Azure DevOps, you don't understand the concept. So first of all, you should be aware of this Azure cloud component, and you should know how to troubleshoot it, because even though if you are Azure DevOps engineer, so currently I'm actually working as a DevOps, I'm actually handling US DevOps project. Currently I'm having a team of 30 members, and I'm the assistant manager for them right now. So I'm working in one of the MNC in Hyderabad location. So if you say DevOps, you should know the knowledge of cloud infrastructure and how it works and how to troubleshoot this stuff. Let's say if you don't know this stuff, and if you are directly going into the DevOps, and that will be like completely a nightmare. So I just suggest you to go with the first introduction and the troubleshooting, and let's learn about the components what we have in this, and then you can go with DevOps. So I'm gonna start sooner. I'm gonna start the DevOps also, because I'm preparing the content. So it's almost ready. So I think mostly like after 1 week or 2 weeks, I'll just inform the Visual Path team in order to give a small demo. So there you can contact Visual Path whenever you have a DevOps demo. So they will just update you the information. So you can join accordingly, and you can have a session. I think I answered your question. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So guys, I'm actually yeah.
Yes. So the quick question: I already have Azure account. It was created, I think, a month or 2 months back. So can you use this for a lab, or because it is a
No, in fact, after 30 days, your account will be, the subscription will be disabled. So you can't use that anymore. Let's say if you want to, reactivate that account, you need to speak with your Microsoft support team, and then, it takes a lot of time, and then it becomes a premium account. Your free trial option is gone now. So you need to, create one more free trial account in order to use the services. Let's say if you just speak with the Microsoft team, and if you re-enable the subscription, then that would become a premium subscription, not a free trial. So you have already consumed your free trial time and resources. So they are gonna disable it. If you log into the subscription, you could see the disabled status on your account. So it's already been.
But actually, it is valid for 1 year, right?
1 year, but if you see the subscription status as disabled, just try to there you have a help and support as I showed in our today's session. Just go and raise a support request because you need to enable it. You can't even create any resource. It will be disabled temporarily. You need to speak with the subscription team. They will explain you the things what are involved in order to enable it, because you can't use the free trial as you have already expired 30 days of time.
Okay.
So in order to discuss related to this, you can have a private call with me. I'll explain you all the stuff, because few other people, they're actually waiting for the question and answers, because I'm in the classroom training. So there are a lot of people here. So whoever having some questions, guys, online guys, you can have a personal discussion with me. You can just speak with the Visual Path team and arrange some calls so that, I'll answer all your queries. So I think I'm actually done with the session. In tomorrow's session, quickly, I'll show you how to create Azure subscription and what are the different subscriptions available and what is a subscription tenant ID. I'll explain you all the stuff, and then we'll quickly see storage part. Okay, we'll see the automation stuff as well as normal Azure storage account creation through portal and also the troubleshooting. So I'm actually closing the online session, guys. See you tomorrow. So if you have any doubts, please contact the Visual Path so we can have a private call. Thanks for joining. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Hi, yeah, it's clear. Yes, message screen or what?